just so you guys know. I'm going to record it.
Well,
All right. So yeah, I went through, so as I said in my email, I'm by no means the expert in Zoom, but I've just been using it for so long. There's certain things that I've learned about it. And so, and now that everybody with a net ID has a Zoom account, now I will preface that Jeff isn't on yet. Jeff, I think, was going to join, but we have that at least through this crisis time.
yeah, and not everybody, because I had somebody else try to go in and they couldn't do it.
Okay, so they told us it was everybody with a net ID, but we can check and see, and maybe not part-time people. But if you check and see if you do have that that option, and it is the Zoom Pro, so it's not the free version, so you do have longer than 40 minutes for sessions. So that is, and typically that's what the university offers, is the free version, like when you go to their site. So but we do at least have it through this, so you don't have to go through, like I know I've set up a lot of meetings for county people, which I'm still happy to do. And once this is over, I'm happy to have that But and it is, you might talk within your office. It is fairly reasonably priced. I don't know how, that would be a Jeff and Noel question for us. So, all right, I'm going to share my screen. And actually oh, here we go.
Put your lid on.
So when you, so everybody can see, one of the things that is good about, this is weird. It's giving me something weird for my graphics. Okay, there we go. That's what I want. Okay, so if you want to do really set up good Zoom meetings, if you go to zoom.us, then that's where it's https zoom.us, and that gets you to the website, and you can log into your Zoom account through that. So this is what it looks like. I know everybody always asks me about the picture, like how can I get my picture up there? It's right here on this zoom.us. You can change your picture, you can take it out, however you want to do that. I would not mess with any of the rest of these things. The only thing you could do is if you wanted to connect your calendar, but and then this is where I wanted to share, and then meetings. This is where you schedule a new meeting. So you would click, and you can also do it from Zoom. Am I getting kind of goofy right now with my internet?
No, it's moving fine here. Well, now you're just stopped over schedule a new meeting.
Okay. On my end, it's kind of goofy, but here's how you schedule a new meeting. So this would be, and it looks very similar if you're doing it through Outlook, and I'll show you on Outlook as well. But you can type in the title, so test meeting. If you want to have a description, you do the date and the time. Now, the one thing I like about Zoom is even if you set it for 11 o'clock today for 1 hour, it's not going to shut off on you. It's still going to keep going. But what it does is in the calendar, it blocks off that hour. You can set time zone, so depending on where you are. Reoccurring meeting, if anybody wants to do reoccurring meetings, I don't see a need for it right now, but if you want to do that, let me know and I will walk you through that. That's how I have the orientation sessions are set up as a reoccurring meeting, so it's the same ID every time, the same link every time. So there is the required, where you could have a registration required. And this is, if anybody has gone into the 4-H volunteer training, and I know I have some non-4-H, well, I think everybody is pretty much has 4-H, a little bit of 4-H. With the 4-H volunteer training, I did require registration for that meeting because I want to know how many are going to be joining roughly. So you can do a registration required, and all that does is it sends them when we send the link out, then they click on it, they go in, they register for that, and then they get the link to go into the Zoom meeting. I think Washoe County, I think a lot of your guys, like a lot of your meetings are set up that way. I'm not sure, because it feels like I have to do that a lot.
Mary, quick question. For the
Yep.
registration, for them to register for that meeting, do they also have to have a Zoom account, or can they just register for just that meeting and then join?
Yep, they can just register for that meeting and join. Yep, you don't, yep, there is a way that you can set it up, and I'll show you guys that, but they don't have to have a Zoom account.
I have a question too.
Yep.
You know how some of our meetings, that if there's a meeting right after it, we cannot start a meeting until that meeting's over? Is
Yep.
that how this is going to be too?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just one room. So yeah, so that will be a little bit of a difference. You can also require a meeting password. So that's, you know, like this would be the password. So you'd let them know that password. I don't typically click that just because I think it's a little bit easier not to try to find the password some days is tough. You can set it so the video, it can be the host, your video starts automatically. I typically have the participants so their video is turned off, but then you can, but then they go in and turn it on. You know how all of you did with this one? You can turn it on or off. It's up to you. That one, this is the one that I'm seeing probably.
Does the theme go for audio?
This is the audio right here, is the next button. And this is where I'm probably seeing more problems, is people will either mark just telephone or just computer audio. So the other day I was on a call and it was marked telephone. So we logged in, but then we also had to call in. And so that was a little cumbersome and nobody could figure it out. Like it took me a second to figure out why it was doing that, but you want to make sure that you mark both, because especially if you're going to have people calling in and joining via computer. So, and then here are the meeting options. So a lot of times if you like, so I know like Molly, I schedule a lot of meetings for Molly and I click on enable join before host. And that way it's going to start as soon as the first person, and you as the host who set up the meeting doesn't have to be there. It will automatically let you just do that meeting. So that is, you know, if you have clubs that want to host meetings, I would highly suggest clicking that enable join before host. You can also mute participants upon entry. That one, you know, that's that's your choice if you want to do that. I don't typically. I have done the enable waiting room, and that one is really interesting because what happens is they go in, when they log in, they go into a waiting room, and then you as a host have to go in and let every single person join the meeting, and it is a little cumbersome. So that one, if you want to know who's in there, you know, then you could do that. Only authenticated users can join. Now this one, they have to have a Zoom account in order to be able to join the meeting. So that one I suggest never clicking. And then, oh, was there a question?
Yes, can I ask a question again about the audio?
Yep.
So when, because we set up a Zoom meeting for our livestock leaders and somebody called in on their phone, but they never muted their phone.
Okay.
So this next one, I'm going to mute participants upon entry. So they will be able to unmute themselves, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
They can unmute themselves, and there is actually a way you can mute them. And if you go as the host, when you click like the pictures that are on the side, if you go to their picture, it'll show up with two buttons. Can you guys see that unmute button there?
On where? I'm not
on Kenny. I've got my mouse over Kenny right now.
Okay, let me get there. Yes.
Okay, you can see that mute and unmute. Kenny, I'm going to unmute you. I think. No, maybe it won't work today.
Yeah, see, I tried that, Carrie, with the open phone that we had, and I could not mute them.
Okay. So I need to play with that and find out why it's not working. because it should. But yes, if you don't want, I would say mute participants upon entry.
Jerry, when you try to unmute me, I have to accept either you unmute
Oh,
or
okay.
not. So, but that's, it pops right up. You can't, there's an option to
Okay.
mute it or to unmute.
I've been playing with my settings too, and I might have messed that up. I might have just been playing with something. So, record the meeting automatically. So you can record the meeting either on the local computer. So if you're on like this one, I'm recording it to my computer rather than onto the cloud. And so I would, if you're going to be on the meetings, I would say record it to the local computer, and it's going to set up a folder in your area that's Zoom, and it actually has a name of if you want to go onto the cloud, if you're not going to be on the meeting and you want to have it recorded, which, like expo meetings, a lot of those, I had them automatically record to the cloud. And then that way you can go on and find those. And I can share. I'm not going to save this one because we don't need to have it. But so this is where you would, and you can always go in and find previous meetings, and then the recordings is where you can find the recordings of the meetings. So, and then you can download them. Okay, any questions so far? I know that's, like I said, and I'm going to have this, it's being recorded so I can share with you. This is where, oh, go ahead.
You guys hear me?
Yep.
When you were back on the options for video and audio, and then down at the bottom it said save. Well, I pulled up, in preparation for this meeting, I set up my own personal Zoom account yesterday.
Yep.
And so I've got that pulled up. Mine says schedule instead of save. Down at the bottom it says schedule. And I didn't know, I didn't click on it. If I was setting up a meeting, I would hit that, correct? And
yes.
then it would allow me to select participants for that, or?
No, then you would get the link. So if I were to save this meeting, so this is what it looks like when I save it.
I assume it's the same thing, like what yours says save, but mine says
right.
schedule, I guess it does.
I would assume it's the same thing. Yeah. And then you can and so what I typically do from there is I do the Outlook calendar, and then that's what you guys see is, and it should pull up. Hopefully you guys, yeah. So can you guys see the Outlook calendar invite now? Sometimes it shares the screen, sometimes it doesn't. Here, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Okay, so this is the calendar invite. And so this is where you would, and then you just invite attendees. And that's where you would type in email addresses. Okay. Whoop. I don't know. Oh, because I closed it. Sorry. Okay. So then, so on settings, this is where there's a lot of settings. And I'm just going to go through some of these and let you know. So again, you've got the host video. I always have it turned on. You can have the participants video turned on, or you can, I usually leave it off and let the participant decide if they want their video on or not. And that's when you join, it asks you if you want to have your video. Audio type, again, computer. Allow participants to join before host. If this was marked, it would automatically do that. So, and other than having it, and then the personal meeting room, I'm not, I don't know enough about those right now to be able to do that, but, and then again, that authenticated, and the joining host, like I said, I would definitely have that set up, if you've got committee meetings or whatever. And then authenticated users, those are ones that have to have a Zoom account. Some of these I wouldn't worry about, like requiring the password for scheduling new meetings. Don't worry about those. This embed password in meeting link with one-click join. That's where, Shay, when you were asking me that question about if they register, you know, do they have to have a Zoom account? Or, and I think that was it. Or somebody asked me, so when they get the Zoom link, it automatically, they just click on it and it allows them to join. They don't have to enter the password. So I would definitely mark that. Require password for people joining by phone. That would be one that if you want to know, like if you don't want people just to be able to join, then you could do that. But, you know, I don't typically do that. You could have mute entry, you know, again, it wouldn't ask you that question in the beginning if you had that. And then the calendar invite, yeah.
I know when I got this computer from Jeff, it made me download something to be able to use Zoom.
Yep.
So they might not need to have a Zoom account, but they will have to, I don't know what it was I downloaded, but they do have to download something to use it.
It just downloads the app onto your, yeah, it just downloads.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it automatically does that the first time they log into a Zoom meeting. Yeah. And the same thing if they join by phone or by by their phone or by an iPad or something, then you have to download the Zoom app for that. So this encryption, I need to learn more about that. I don't know enough about that to tell you about it. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I'm learning. Chat. So here's the thing about the chat box. You can allow for, and yeah, and Liz, I'm seeing your question about signing up for a new account. If you don't currently have an account, then you go through the university site and you can get your Zoom account through the university.
Okay, is that like on the UNR website or?
Yeah, I think Jeff sent out an email.
Oh, through that. Okay, I've got that somewhere. Got it. Thank you.
Yep. So you can make it so the chat is visible. I learned this yesterday. I don't know why I never even realized this. In the chat, you as the participants can save the chat box. If you click the three buttons or the three dots button, it says save chat and it will allow you to save that chat. I think it probably is, Shay. I'm not 100% sure. That's a good question and something to play, you know, like I've been going in and playing with since I decided to do this yesterday, I've been playing with it to see a lot of the pieces, but.
Carrie?
Yep.
So your screen looks similar to mine because I got mine still pulled up and
yep.
I'm looking through it. I think the few differences I'm seeing have to do with the fact you have, is it a pro membership or what are they like?
Right, and you probably have the free version. Did you just go to Zoom and download it?
Yeah, I have the free, and then my account is, it didn't cost anything, so.
Okay, so go to the university IT website.
Okay.
And find where you can download the Zoom. You can download Zoom Pro right now for free.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yep.
What's the difference? I mean, is it just?
The free version of Zoom only allows for 40 minutes sessions. So you can't go over, it cuts off at 40 minutes and it only allows a certain number of people, like maybe 50 people, something like that. I don't remember exactly. The pro version is unlimited time. So like Sarah and I were on Zoom sessions for like pretty much all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday, and most of yesterday. So I believe you can pin a message to the chat, but I'm not sure how you do that. We'd have to play with that a little bit. I can't remember. So on this chat, if you click this prevent participants from saving chat, that just doesn't allow them to save it to they can still chat, they just can't save it. Private chat, this would be one where participants can send, so like I can click on in the chat box, if you go down to the 2 and it says everyone button, I can click Danae and I can send Danae a private message and then hit send, and it sends Danae a private message. She can send me a private message back. None of you can, well, hopefully you can see that in the chat box right now, but normally if you pulled up the chat box in your own Zoom, you would not be able to see that. Even as the host, I cannot see the private messages that are going back and forth. So if you want to allow that, I always, when I'm doing that, I'm always like, oh, is that like, you know, are people talking about what I'm doing or whatever? But I use it a lot. So you could leave it up or not. So Lindsay, I will try to find that and send it out to everybody as soon as this is over. I know Jeff sent out the information, or I thought Jeff sent out the information, and I don't see Jeff on here. He had said he might join, so, but I'll find it and email it to everybody.
He did send it out.
Okay.
I don't know. It was last week, I think, sometime.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. I'll forward it again. Just because I know I've been losing email like crazy lately.
I'll just attach the link in the chat.
Oh yeah, could you do that, Kenny?
Yeah, it's there now in the chat. So
okay.
It's if you click that, it'll bring you right to the page, and then it'll sign you right in with your net ID. You don't even have to really do anything.
Okay.
And you'll be signed up.
Okay. Cool.
Thanks, Kenny, because I was searching that, because that's what I did. And I went straight to where Carrie is right now, and it was super easy to set everything up. Now, but just to emphasize, that's only temporary. Not
right.
These licenses won't continue.
Right, and you probably want to like bookmark that page or do something, because if you try to just go in with zoom.us and try to log in with the right credentials, it won't let you. You have to use the unr.zoom.us.
Okay. Okay. Mine is a little bit different. Yeah, sorry. Mine is a little bit different because I still am paying for mine. And for those of you that do have the license through when Knoll had bought licenses, there was about 20 of us that paid for them. Do not go in and change this. Like, don't change the account. If you're in the southern area, talk to Knoll. If you're in the northern area, you could probably talk to Alyssa or talk to Jeff, or probably anybody could talk to Knoll and ask him, about that. But Jeff told me absolutely don't do that for mine. So the other piece, autosave chats. So I really like that feature. So when I get done with the meeting, it automatically saves the chat box, the chat, to a separate file in the Zoom folder on my computer. And I like that feature. So I always have that marked. You could play a sound when participants join or leave. You can see I don't have that marked in mine because I don't want, it's a lot of noise, background noise. So here's an option. You could save a folder or save a file in the chat box. You are the participant. So like Kenny put this, but what I can click on this. I just did this earlier. Here's a document that then you could, then I believe you guys can download that document from the chat box. And that's a really good one that Sarah Monique put together. So it's a good document to share anyway, but yeah, this is, that's just one example. So you could do that. The feedback, I have it set up. So when you log out, it asks you, Did you have fun? Did you not? Or did you like this meeting? You know, it's up to you whether you want that. Co-hosting, so like I can go in here and I'm going to make Jill a co-host. So it asked me, do you want to make Jill a co-host? Yes, I want to make Jill a co-host. So that way Jill can help me monitor more and have more control over what's happening in the meeting.
Carrie?
Yep.
When I set up our leader meeting that way and I wanted to make Joelle a co-host, I couldn't because she didn't have, there was a message that popped up. She wasn't some sort of user or didn't have an account or something. So just so people know, you might not be able to mark everybody as a co-host.
Right.
Or, there might be some limits.
Or it could be really fun and assign Jill to type the closed captioning, but no. The other piece is if you have to leave a meeting and you want somebody to take over as a host, you can make them the host and then that leaves you, then you leave. You can also allow them to record the meeting. According to this, it looks like I can allow, like I could give Sam the option to record the meeting. So I've never played with that feature. I've done the co-host and made somebody else a host when I've left, but I've never done the recording. So that could be interesting. Okay, is everybody like overwhelmed at this point, or are we good?
I'm good.
Okay. So polling, this is a feature that you have in Pro that they don't have in the free version. So yeah, there are a ton of features. That's why. So there is a place, Shay, that I saw that you can ask, or people have to give consent to record. Typically, we aren't required to do that I saw. I just let people know in the beginning, hey, I am recording this meeting. And that way, if anybody does have any issues, they can let me know. So, but there is an option, and I think we'll find it in a second. So, but yeah, so the polling is essentially you can add a question. I don't want to really do that. Well, you can add a question, and so you could ask a question here and then give answers, and then when they are like testy, and then test, can't type today, test for questions. And then you'd answer 1, answer 2, answer 3, answer 4, and then you could, I think, and then okay. And then you go back to the polls. Oh, it didn't do it, but I can play, you can play with that polling thing, and it will, but it is kind of, if you want to get, sorry, I just went out of where I was. If you want to get feedback from people immediately, that's a really good way to do that, is that polling. And again, but you have to have that feature turned on in order to be able to use it. The other piece you can do is you can hit allows host to put an attendee on hold. So let's see how that, yeah. So Candy, I'm gonna bring you, well, I could, if Candy was not muting her microphone and she was misbehaving, maybe she decided to share not nice things in the chat box with people, you could put her on hold and you could remove her from the meeting. So, and so that is, that's a feature that you need to mark, because like, you know, like I said in my email yesterday, people, I think what they're doing is they're just going in and typing like the Zoom, the introduction, because if you notice everything but the meeting ID and the link is all the same. So yeah, you are very nice, Candy. You were up there. So there is a place you can allow them to come back in if they, you know, if they're going to behave. But what they're doing, I think they're just typing in random numbers and just joining random Zoom groups. And they're either having a virtual background that's porn, because you can actually select your own picture to put back there. But you can also, you know, so they have a porn picture back there, or they're typing bad things in the chat box, or if you allow participants to share screen, they're just jumping in and sharing screen and putting porn. I know it's crazy and it's stupid, but you know. Oh, did I mean Sam? Yes, I would remove Sam. No. But yeah, so you do have, there is a feature that you can do live on Zoom. I don't know how it works on Facebook, but if anybody wants to play with that stuff, let me know and we'll play with it. I know the other day, Jeff was having everybody was having a couple people test out the being able to get the Zoom account. And so it was like, you know, they just sent me an invite and we jumped on to make sure it all worked. So, and then this was one that I just figured out today, actually. Always show the meeting control bar. So you want to make sure, like, if you take that off, then you may not be able to see, like, with the manage participants and those things. Show Zoom windows when sharing screens. So that's when you can see the pictures of people. I guess that one I don't have marked, so I don't know what that one is. But screen sharing, you can allow, just so if you're gonna host the meeting, you know, if it's one that you know that nobody else needs to share their screen, you could do host only. Like sometimes if you're doing training and you know you're the only one that's gonna share a screen, just click host only. That allows it. So now, like, if I stop sharing my screen and you know, Kenny, just share your screen really quick. So Kenny could go in and click that button and share his screen. Yeah. So Kenny can share his screen too. So okay, you can, and I think I can go in as the host and tell him to quit sharing. Yep, I can hit stop sharing screen. So I can, you know, that's up when when they're sharing screen. You can see up on top, it has the like stop the sharing and stuff. Then that's where you can go in and click stop. You know, you can have them stop sharing screen. Liz, I don't know if you can change these while you're in the middle of a meeting. You would have to log into that site and do that. But I'm not sure how that works. But again, we can play with those things. That's how I've learned most everything, is I just play with it. Okay, so disable, and I actually clicked this one because I wanted to see what it did, and it doesn't look like, it looks like Kenny could share his screen. So I thought maybe I could pick the people that could share screens, but it doesn't look like that. Okay, another tool I learned about, I never really had played with this until yesterday. Some of you joined the webinar about the virtual icebreakers or whatever it was, and I learned about this annotate screen. So you could, people, like if I allow that, if you click that annotate screen, you can go on here and type on the screen. Or you could do a arrow key and it does the arrow key. So yeah. So Kenny did that. So that is something, and then you can clear like everybody, like you can clear all the drawings on it. But if you wanted people to, you know, it's a way to engage people. So I would say click that, make sure it's on. You can also share a whiteboard where I'm going to see if it'll let, yeah, I think it should let me take it over to the, so this is a whiteboard. So I could, you know, go in here and say, test for, you know, for knowledge. And then, you know, I could say, okay, everybody go in and put a heart stamp in there. So you would hit the annotate button and then you'd put, you know, you could put, yeah, people are putting hearts in there, see? And then you can save this. So it saves it. And then I can clear it and I can stop sharing that. Whoop. Didn't realize it would take me completely out, but that's okay. But you do have that whiteboard. So it's a way that you could, and people can share, you know, they could type in it as well. So I would say click that. Remote control, the person who's sharing can allow others to control the shared content if you wanted that. The other piece that I learned, I just played with today, was on the nonverbal feedback. If you go to the participants list, if you click that manage participants, I think you guys, you can see the participants. You can actually, like, next to your name, you could click yes. So I could do a poll, say, okay, who all agrees with what we're learning? If you agree, click yes. If you don't agree, click no. Or if you're learning something. So everybody has the, sees the participant list, right? Okay. So you could, you know, so you could mark that if you wanted to do, yeah. So we've got yes, no, okay. If you think I'm going too fast, you could click this go fast or go slower, and that tells me, oh, somebody wants us to go slower. So just kind of a fun, you know, it's a good way, quick way. So I would say click that. And then this is where allow remove participants to rejoin. So you could click that as well and allow them to rejoin. It's up to you. Okay, advanced settings. There are breakout rooms. I'm not going to go into a lot on breakout rooms, but essentially, like, I could take all of you guys right now and put you into breakout rooms. Okay, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys, I'm going to put you in breakout rooms so you can just see what that looks like, and then I'll bring you back, okay? So you can either do it automatically or you can do it manually. So what I could do is if I did it manually, I could assign you to a room. If you do it automatically, it automatically breaks you up into rooms. So if you want random groups, you do that. So open all rooms. Okay. So for those of you that are still here, what you would do is say, okay, I want to join that room or whatever. You know, it asks you if you want to join that room or not. It should. It's going to close back up in just a second. It gives us 60-second break or 60-second countdown. Looks like people are starting to come back. Okay. Is everybody back now? Yep. So just a quick, how was that? Like, it's a pretty cool feature.
We use those with the Institute planning and it worked very, very well.
Yeah. I used to use it for when we would do program planning for our we call them topic teams, but we had 5 priorities, and so I would break everybody out into breakout rooms. And as the host, the nice thing is you can jump between the different breakout rooms too. So if you wanted to have, you know, different meeting, you know, you could, there's ways that you can play with that. It's kind of fun. So remote support, that one is if you need to give support to somebody, I don't think it's important. Zoom will also allow for closed captioning. So you can either, like I could assign, like I said, I can assign Sarah the, her job is to type the closed captioning. That would be really tough. I've never played with that feature, but you can also save it to where with the recording, you can send it to a third party group and they will do the closed captioning for you. And you can allow participants to save the transcripts or save fully closed captions. And as we know with videos, we have to have them closed captioned anymore. So this one I do not suggest clicking. So this gives, so if I clicked that, it would give any of you access to my camera. Like you could change my camera at any time. And for safety reasons, I don't think that's a good thing. You also have the virtual background. So you can see Kenny probably is not sitting in a field of yellow flowers right now. So he has the virtual background set. This is, again, you know, if you know everybody that's going to be on it, great. If you don't, then I would say, you know, probably maybe don't want to have that clicked. It's up to you guys. UNR just came out, I think it was on Facebook yesterday, where they have virtual backgrounds with pictures of the university, and they're suggesting that professors and such use those if they're using Zoom. The other thing I've seen a lot of states are now doing is they will get like we could use the UN or the UNR extension logo with the 4-H Clover, we could have it behind us. So
Do we have that yet?
What's that?
Do we have that yet?
Yeah, the one that got sent out, the one that has the, you know,
for background screens.
Yeah, you can, when you go into there's a place to do it, and I don't remember where. I'll have to look to see where it is. I think it's under video. Yeah, video. If you click the video camera, it says choose a virtual background, and that's where, and it'll allow you to select pictures too. So there's a way that you can do that. Let's see, identifying guest participants. So if some of you did not have a Zoom account, like you guys all have, there's some way that you guys are all connected, but if you were not, it would tell me that you're a guest. And with that guest, it would, you know, they don't see that they're a guest, but I know that they're a guest as that. So I don't really know the auto answer. I really truly don't know what that means. I could, you know, again, yeah. So we've, you know, just playing with things. Only show, yeah, this email invite, like when you forward something to another person, I think what it does is it sends it from that person. I don't have that one marked because I don't see a need for that at this point. HTML, yeah, I'm not sure what that, like I have it marked, but I'm not sure. I'd have to play with that a little bit more. Allow them to have stereo audio during meetings, original sound. I mean, you could mark, yeah, I haven't played with those. I mean, like I said, I don't play with all of them, but yeah, I'm not sure. Attention tracking. I think that's if they don't have it in their camera in focus. I don't think that's really that big of a deal. And then this is the waiting room. Like I said in the beginning, they cannot join the meeting until the host admits them individually from the waiting room. I did this one time and it was really confusing. And so I don't typically do that. But again, if you're having a, you know, if you're having a meeting and you want to make sure, you know, everybody that's participating is somebody that you know, that you want to allow in, you could do that. You could click that. And then this is where Shay, I think it was Shay that asked the question about join from your browser link. So allow participants to bypass Zoom application download process, so they could just, they don't have to download, or maybe it was Molly that asked that question. So if they can't download, install, or run applications, then you can have, then I would suggest having that marked. So yeah, it would probably work if you, oh yeah, that would work if you had a co-host for the waiting room so that you could both bring people in. Yeah. And then this is where allow live stream meetings. And I would love to play with that one of these days. I've never played with that one, so I don't know what the features are there, but it's, you know, it's worth looking at. So let's see. This tells you, like, so when I log off, it has to convert the folders, convert the files, and then I get a message that pops up that tells me that the recording is available. You could also, if you have somebody else scheduling meetings for you, you could have that, send it to them. Then I have this marked, so when attendees join meeting before the host. So sometimes you guys will see me, like, if, you know, what happens is I get an email that tells me that someone has joined the meeting. And then I know, oh, yep, okay, I need to log in, or, oh crap, I forgot to cancel that meeting, which some of you have seen happen before. And so I send a quick email out that says, sorry guys, I forgot, that was canceled. So, and it's always fun because you can see when people are playing with Zoom, testing out to see if they can get into the Zoom room, because like I'll get an email at 9 o'clock at night that so-and-so logged into Zoom. I just ignore it, but I just thought, you know, so that's something, you know, that's a personal choice. Notify participants when the meeting is canceled. You know, that's always, if you've got people, allow, or when an alternate host is set or removed from a meeting. I've never been able to get this alternative host to work, so I'm not sure. And notify the host when a meeting is scheduled, rescheduled, or canceled. So down in the other section, you can add somebody in to be able to go into your account and be able to schedule meetings through your Zoom account. So, and then you could allow the recording to, when they give you 7 days before it's going to be permanently deleted from the trash. I have mine set up so they don't delete, but you can't have them delete. Okay, so I don't have any idea what this blue snapshot is. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I need to play with it. The direct call from the room system, I don't know what that is, but your email, your invitation email, so that's, you know, where you get the invitation email. You can set that up so that it can be in Spanish, it could be in English, it could be, you know, you can see you've got lots of options for, so if you know that you've got, that you're going to be sending this to Spanish speaking audience, you could click, you know, Spanish. And then if you, I believe this, yeah, so here's the template in Spanish. So you could save it and send it. If, you know, if you want it in whatever, so that does give you. Scheduling privileges, again, here is, you know, I've added Tracy, who is my who is my admin now, to be able to schedule Zoom sessions through my account. I haven't had her do that yet, but we'll see. I have no idea what this is at the bottom. But yeah, there's, like, you know, like Lindsay said, there are a ton of features, but I think it's good to be able to see, you know, to kind of see those. And then again, the account profile, you can get reports through Zoom. I need to look at that because I'm not sure. Okay, you can tell usage and also meetings. The one thing I wanted to share with you okay, so I'm going to find the volunteer training. So this is where I required them to register before they joined the meeting. So this was the link that I sent out. And what it does is down here, so I have 39 people that are registered for that meeting. And, oh, it's because this is hiding it. So I can view who is registered for this meeting. So you can see all of the, and then you can also resend a confirmation email, which probably next week I will do, just so they know that or if like, so I know Karen really is not involved with us. She's not a volunteer, she's not a staff, so I could cancel that registration. Like I could click there and I won't do it, but you could cancel it. So that way, or if there's somebody that, we don't want to do that, but you can do that as an option. So the email settings, you can set it so it's your email address. They get the confirmation email as soon as they register. I have it branded with our logo. So when they do get, I believe on the right side of the meeting, on the invitation page, whatever, it has our logo. And I don't know what the poll, yeah. If you want to do polls for that meeting, you could set up polls that way. So, all right. That's a lot, I know. Any other questions? The other piece I want to, yep, thanks, Lindsay. Yeah, I know. And I went way longer than I thought I was going to, but they do have really good tutorials on here. And I would highly suggest, if you want to learn some things, pulling up these tutorials. The one thing I've seen a lot on Facebook lately, because we have a lot of groups that are using Zoom with outside, with people that aren't familiar with it. There's some good tutorials for our user groups as well about how do you use Zoom. So those, you could use those. Does the poll show up in the chat? I don't believe it shows up in the chat. What it does, Shay, is it shows up on your screen. So, let me see if I can do this. Okay, add a question. I'm going to see if I can add this Zoom question or add this poll question. Okay. Oh, there we go. I just didn't have it far enough. Okay, so I'm going to come back and I'm going to launch this poll. Okay. Sorry. Oops. I don't know what I just did. Okay. So here's, yeah. So you guys can end it. And then we end the polling and hopefully can everybody see the end, the results? It says the poll is closed. You guys can't see that? Okay. Oh, here we go. That's how I do it. Now you guys can see the results. So yes. You could share that with them. You can also relaunch it as the person. If you didn't get enough, you could start it again, and then you can end it and share those results with the group. So, and then I believe it does, when it saves the recording, I believe it saves the poll results as well. So any other questions? If you guys, if you guys are doing this and you have questions that come up, feel free. Just, if you want to jump on and just try something out, like I said, just send me a quick invite and we can do that. Sorry, my dog's like outside the door whining at me and I don't know why. Like he's being obnoxious right now. He either has to go to the bathroom or there's something.
Open the door. He just wants to be with you.
Well, the door's open. He can come in. Come on, Chris. I don't know. He was barking a second ago like there was somebody outside. I don't know. So
thank you, Carrie.
Yeah, thank you guys. Hopefully you got something. Noel and I keep talking about we wanted to do, just basic training on Zoom. And so this was my, hey, let's
maybe the next training, if you talk to Noel or Alyssa or or Jeff,
yep.
Is the next one would be if you're using both interactive video and Zoom.
Yes, yes. I think that's a good one too. Yep.
Thank you, Carrie. This was helpful. Sure.
I know that was a lot of information, but I will get this converted and put into the YouTube and then send out the link. So
thank you also for yesterday's referral. This one plus the trainer.
Oh yeah.
Really helpful.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for the that was really cool, Liz. She was switched. So the webinar that I had sent out yesterday, it was super, like I got it a half an hour before the meeting started. I'm waiting for the link. They're supposed to be sending the link, or it's going to be somewhere. I'm going to look for it today. But she was switching between her Zoom, and then she also was logged in with her iPad, and she could switch to that camera, and I figured out how to do it, but I just couldn't get it to work. Like if you hit share, the share button, it does ask you like screen, whiteboard, or iPhone or iPad, and so I was playing, but you had to be logged in on your iPad too, and it was really cool. So I'm learning how to do that one because that was awesome. So yeah, and I had to log out, and so I was sad that I had to log out early, but yeah. I'm trying to figure out, she was the CapNote speaker at the National 4-H Agents Conference last year, and I'm trying to figure out, I would love to bring her in for a face-to-face training, and she's not super expensive. I mean, she was like $3,500 plus in her travel, which, you know, if you know anything about speakers, that's like really cheap for that kind of, you know, because what she did yesterday is nothing compared to what she does face to face.
Yeah, she's pretty amazing. I've done about 5 or 6 face-to-face trainings with her, and
oh yeah,
she always brings something that's, you know, fun and energetic and kind of things that you can use. So
yep. So I'm trying to figure out how I can do that. I thought I might have been able to do it, but right now, with the way things are looking, I don't know what my budget's going to look like next year. So, but know that is I had forgot all about that until yesterday, and I was like, okay, yep, we want to bring her in. So, and like I said, as soon as I get the recording, I will send it out to everybody. So as I get those resources, I'm going to keep sharing them. And as I get resources, more and more resources for, you know, how we do things virtually, I will keep sharing them with everybody. So thank you guys, and have a great weekend. Hopefully people can kind of put things, you know, hang out in their house, and I'm going to try.
Thanks, Carrie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Stay safe and healthy.
Yep, you too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Kenny, do you want to just stay on for a sec?
sure.
Okay.
Cancel, so I don't leave.
It should have. Oh. Okay, why did it not do it? Oh, there we go. So I just, like, you can remove people from meetings, which I really appreciate, because I've had to do that a couple times. So,
Yeah.
but here, I'm going to stop recording it.